What happened then was leading on to my next work of art. Is that I have a lawyer, well, I know quite a few lawyers, and they're very friendly and they take turns in giving me legal advice. And I phoned up my friend and said, can I get my DNA and my fingerprint card back off the police? Because I've been found guilty of nothing. I'm innocent. What can we do? Why? They're collecting information about people, building up a DNA database without properly announcing it behind people's backs. And my lawyer's rather lovely. He said, yes, we shall do that in the time-honoured fashion of writing legal letters and charging extortionate amounts of money for that. So he wrote these letters to the police, and the police immediately wrote back and said, yes, we'll destroy the DNA, we'll destroy the fingerprint card. I was delighted and said, this is great. And my friend said, no, there is more to be done. Because a chap who wins the right to have his fingerprint card destroyed also wins the right to witness the destruction of said fingerprint card. I said, what is not to like? We go along to the police station, there's a large window, and we sit behind this pane of glass. Two police officers, us on one side, them on the other. Young officer, older officer. I promise you, the young officer started the whole thing by saying, we are gathered here today to witness the destruction of your fingerprint card. And at this point, the older officer held up the fingerprint card and pushed it onto the window and just went, is this your card? I said, well, I don't carry a memory of my fingerprints, but yes, let's assume it is. And the young chap said, right, we're now going to tear it up. And I said, what do you mean tear it up? He said, I'm going to tear it up. I said, aren't you going to put it through a shredder? He said, no. I said, well, why not? Because you're working, you know, at the cutting edge of DNA technology. And he said, well, it's not our police station and we can't use things that don't belong to us. I said, well, you're working at the cutting edge of DNA science and you're going to tear up my fingerprint card. He goes, I'd tear it into very small pieces, look. And he tore it into a chunk like that. And I said, no, that's not small enough. He went, all right, all right. So he starts tearing it. And he said, no, I said, no, I want it smaller. So he tore it even smaller. And he sat there and we got this pile of shredded fingerprint card. And I said, that's fantastic. Can I have them? He said, what? I said, can I have my fingerprint card? He said, why do you want it? I said, well, because once I leave this room, someone with less integrity than yourself might actually get them out of the bin and put it all back together. And he said, well, oh, okay. And the older colleague said, no, I can't do that because the top of the fingerprint card is official police information. Legally, I cannot hand that over to you. You can't have it. And the young cop said, no, I can't give it to you unless I sort out the bits of the top card from the bits of the other card. And I said, would you? And he said, yes. So he sat there sorting out this card. So he had one little pile of police, and then he gave me all the other bits of the fingerprint card. I said, have you got a money bag to put it in? He said, yeah. So he put it in the money bag, and we went into this very sort of like weird standoff, where we just sat there looking at each other. And it became one of those kind of like, who's going to move first type things. I'm not quite sure how we got in there, but I'm looking at the young cop's looking at me, the young cop's looking at Charlotte, my lawyer, the lawyer's looking at the old cop. No one's saying anything. Charlotte goes, thank you for helping us. The young cop goes, that's my duty, that's my pleasure. The old cop goes, just doing our job. And so it all goes back to the stare off again. So we're just sitting there staring and it gets quite tense and no one says anything. And then the young cop says to me, I'm coming to see you perform at Milton Keynes. You're not going to mention this, are you? So what we've done now is our next step, me and my mate Tracy, who's an artist, we're actually getting all the fingerprint bits together and building back the fingerprint card and turning it into a little artwork. Because out of every single thing that we do that is dissenting, there is a possibility to be creative. And that's really why I'm genuinely thrilled to be here and to see this work and to be amongst the artists here. Thank you very much. Thank you, Noise, for inviting us to come along. And thank you to everyone, especially the people who've contributed here. Thank you and congratulations.